It's raining again and we've had tons of crazy windstorms, and I've had the awning out and it's been fine, except just now it ripped. Really sad. So I need to take it all down now, and yeah, that's a bit sad. That didn't really last hugely long. Boo. Sadly, the awning is no more. We had a windstorm and it ripped, so I had to take it down, which is very sad. But the thing about when things break is that it means you get to remake them and make them better. So I think my first plan, my first test of it all worked brilliantly well, better than I thought it would. And actually I've kind of learned something from the failure of the one that I just did. So the good thing about this failure is that we can see where it failed. So it didn't fail at the fixings in the house, which is great, because that means that we don't have any kind of issue with it kind of tearing off the house and there being so much force against the house that that's where it's gonna fail. So that's really, really good. It didn't fail at any of the areas that I sewed it. So I obviously used the right materials and I sewed it well enough that all stayed together. Where it did fail was the actual fabric itself. So as you can see, there is a huge colour difference between the original colour of the fabric and then the sun bleached fabric that was obviously, you know, getting the sun shone on it every day. And even though this type of fabric is supposed to be UV resistant, obviously it's not that UV resistant, because in a matter of 3 months it's had so much UV damage, and the UV damage that actually makes the fibers in the fabric really brittle and less flexible and more short, and so they come apart, and that's literally what happened. That's how it's ripped. It's just ripped down the side, and it's failed within the fabric itself, and that's literally just due to light, like sun, UV rays, light deterioration. So my little conservator heart is hugely excited at this experiment that this has happened, because this literally just proves all the science that I've been taught over the years and that I practice in my day job. So when we talk about light deterioration on fabrics and textiles in museum and art collections, you know, this shows what actually happens to them over time when they get sun damaged. So anyways, nerdiness aside, I will remake this, but what it's also made me do is actually investigate the fabric a bit more. So this was very cheap ripstop fabric because I wanted something really light, and I think the type of fabric works, but it definitely comes in different grades. I got the cheapest grade, and so now I'm looking at getting samples of, there's a medium weight and a heavyweight grade. So I know that the heavyweight grade is what they use to make sails and things for boats. So clearly that's got to be UV resistant, because, you know, they wouldn't be able to fail. You wouldn't want them to fail in the middle of a, I don't know, sailing competition or something. But heavyweight could mean that it's obviously too heavy for what I need it for. So I'm going to order some samples of the medium weight and the heavyweight, and we can get them and test them and see how much they weigh, and then make a decision. Maybe the next step up is to go with a medium weight, make a new version of what I had already, and see how that works. The other thing is that because I'm making a new one, I'll make it to the same design. I've ended up salvaging the D-rings and obviously the tent poles out of the old bit, so as you can see we just have a sad mess of fabric left. That will obviously have to go in the bin, nothing really else for it. But I can reuse the fixings, and I'm definitely going to reuse the design, and I will also have another think about being able to tension it slightly better. I was using bungee cord, but I didn't love it. It wasn't necessarily the right, hard to get it to the right length. So I'll just have another think about better ways to tension it. Maybe a different type of knot, maybe a different type of material, maybe something else completely. So yeah, so another project to add back on the list, but I will say that I'm happy with the prototype. It worked brilliantly for 3 months. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. It didn't cost me a huge amount, so the fact that it's broken, it's not the end of the world. I haven't lost a lot of money. I guess if you think about the, I don't know, whatever it cost, £40 use over 3 months, yeah, probably worth it. And now we get to make another one and try and make it better. So another project to add to the list. I just thought I would check in because it's a Tuesday. I'm working from home today. It's turned out, as you can see behind me, to be a lovely day. It says that it's about 22 degrees outside at the moment. Beautiful. But this is where I realise that not having the awning is makes a big difference, because I'm looking at my thermometer inside and it's 25 degrees inside this house right now. No wonder I feel really hot. So yeah, I mean, you can really see the difference that that awning made in keeping the sun off of the windows behind me and keeping the house cool. So that's like 3 degrees that the inside of the house is hotter. So I mean, originally when the awning came down and broke, I thought, don't need to rush to repair this because we're done with the hot weather. But I guess I haven't realised that doesn't even need to be that hot outside to get quite hot inside. So that might have to, the new one might have to be another priority. So we'll see what I do with that, but I just thought it was a bit of an interesting, I don't know, experiment result. Behind me is Bob's shed. Bob and I painted it this weekend in a very lovely green colour, which unfortunately we ran out of paint, and then we thought we found another can of the same paint, and then unfortunately Bob painted the door and one of the sides of the shed, and it turns out that it's not the same colour paint. Well, it's a different shade, as you can see. So we've now since found another can of paint in his store, which is black, and we think maybe what originally happened was he took the original green colour and it was mixed with black to make it a more darker green. So now we are doing some colour mixing to create and colour match to the original darker green that we both like, that is on the rest of the shed. And also we also did the deck railing and everything as well. So tonight we are colour matching paint. Hopefully we get a mix, so we get a proper match. This is our green mixed up paint. So at first we did a 3:1 ratio, which was too light, and so we added an extra blob of black. So actually sorry, it was a 4:1 ratio, and now we're up to a 4:2 ratio, and we think that this colour might be the correct match for the wall. So we are going to paint some on the door, let it dry and have a look, but we think we might have cracked it. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. Well, actually, it's sort of moment of half truth, because we'll only really know when it. We won't know until. Yeah.
Maybe a bit.
I don't know. It looks pretty close.
I think this, to my mind, certainly. Just put a bit more on it.
Yeah. We know that it darkens up when it dries because we found that out when we were painting before.
Indeed.
That it's a bit clear. It was a bit, and then it goes a bit more opaque.
So that's it then, is it?
Yep. I think we leave it like that. We go off on how we have a drink, and we come back and we see how it's dried. Bob and I agree. This is bang on. We've hit it out the park first time.
And there's enough of that black to do what we need for the.
Yeah, bang on. Look at that.
No expense.
There's that conservation degree in action. Perfect for colour matching and in painting sheds. And thank God I got all those student loans to pay off. It's good that they've come in handy. And this is the final product. I think that colour matched perfectly, so very proud of that. And yeah, probably the best looking shed on the island now. It is early Saturday morning, 7 AM, and as you can see behind me, the office area has been completely taken apart because today the landlords are coming. We've got a list of a bunch of jobs that they're going to do. We're going to add another radiator behind me and add a dog flap, so that Lemon can get herself in and out of the garden in the winter. I don't have to keep opening and closing the door for her, and when I have to go into London and she stays at home, she has access to the garden when she needs it. And it's really lovely to see this space so empty and sort of kind of clear. And I've been doing lots of work painting all the trim and adding sealant, and they're going to do some work on the windows, and we're going to repaint all of that as well. And yeah, it's really beautiful. Such a lovely space. So this is it at the moment without me standing in front of it. So obviously I've just piled everything up back there, the desk and things. So this old gas heater is going, and we'll have to block up the hole. I'll probably have to do some wallpaper, take some of the wallpaper off and redo some of the wallpaper. And then the dog door's going to go down there. It's just such a beautiful space when you've got all the windows. You can just see out in the morning. And you see the garden. Now that that's all done, it's so beautiful. So I'm thinking, I'm having designs on maybe, I don't know, maybe not putting the desk back. I think this would be a really beautiful dining space. I'm wondering if I find a sort of small glass dining table to go in there, and then I could work from the dining table when I'm working from home. But I just think it would be such a lovely space to have people around. Yeah, I just need to finish painting all the trim and things and the window trim once all the work's done. So I will yeah, keep you posted on all the jobs that are going to happen later on today. It's a haul! Woo! And here's the dog flap from the outside. So I also need to build a step for this side so she can get down it as well.